today I'm finally, after all these months, maybe a year of saying that I would do it, I'm finally getting around to doing my Sigil-Craft series, and I'm going to talk about Jujus. So basically what I'm going to be doing is talking about, it's broken down into two series, or mini-series rather. We got the Sigil-Craft, and then we have Jujus. So I got my notes here. It's quite a bit, and I'm gonna break it down. I think it's like 7 Sigil-Craft videos, and maybe like, it's 4 Sigil-Craft videos, and maybe it was 7 Juju videos. Oh, it's 8. Well, I don't know my numbers, but so it's like 4 or 5 Sigil-Craft videos, and then about 7 or 8 Juju videos. And I'm gonna end up creating a playlist, and so I'm gonna have a Sigil-Craft playlist, which will have all of these, and then I'm gonna have the Juju crafting playlist, and it might I think for that one I'm just gonna include the like the first intro of this one. Oh, and the second video of this one. Just because when it comes to Juju making, I only make one type of intention sigil. Yeah. So, with that said, we'll continue on with this intro video. So there's basically two types of sigils, or intention sigils as I call them, and that will make sense more when I talk about Jujus. We have the minor intention sigils, and I don't usually call them intention sigils unless I'm talking about the Juju, because of how it gets used in the Juju. So, if that makes any sense. But because when it comes to Juju, there's also, it's like there's just so many components, which I don't want to talk about, but it'll make sense then. So right now we'll just say minor or major sigils, but know that I classify all of these as intention sigils, and I just use a particular type, which we'll talk about in the second video for the Jujus. Okay, so minor sigils basically can stand alone. Those would be your standard sigils that everybody knows and uses, that you craft, you burn, put under a candle, put in a spell bag or a witch's purse, whatever you call it, and go about your day. And then with the major sigils, that's what kind of pertains to the next mini series of Jujus. It's like all of the components make up what I call a major sigil, and these are kind of sigils that can be spells in their own right. It's usually a very ritualistic spell, even if you're just to make one of those sigils and not use it for Juju craft. I strictly use it for Juju craft, but you don't have to. The minor sigils are a little simpler. I mean, they can be, they're still a little complex, depending on how you make them. But it's not as complex as the major sigils. Now, I should have prefaced, but I forgot, that this is my way of making sigils. There are a lot of people that do it in much simpler ways. I personally like doing it this way because I feel like it puts more power in the sigil. So, there's 3 categories. Yeah, they could still apply to major sigils. So there's 3 categories. You have the active, instant, and passive. An active sigil, basically, they're powerful like the instant sigils, but they consume more chi because of how, think of it as like a gym rat, or a bulky person, very muscular, very strong person. You know, they need to eat a lot of food, and they're very active, they're very noticeable. And so this type of sigil would need constant feeding. And just like the gym rat or whatever, or the muscular person, I can't think of no, I don't want to use that word. The muscular person, you know, they consume a lot of chi, or in that case, energy, because of working out or whatever. Just like this, the sigil consumes a lot of chi. It's very, well, it's active. So, the instant sigils are, they would be kind of considered as the strongest conductors for manifesting. But they're short-lived, and that's because they're instant. Think of it as like, a spark. When you're sparking a flame, the spark is very quick. The flame itself would be the active and constant component, whereas the passive could be seen as like the smolders, okay? So instant are, they're very quick and they're very effective for strong manifestations, but they're short-lived. This one always involves destroying it. This is usually where you would do a burning, and maybe you'd keep the ashes, do something with it, or let it go, or drawing them in the earth, or probably more so the sand, where the waves would take the sigil away. Yeah, and then once it's destroyed, you can't work on... It's not that you can't work on that sigil, because you could obviously just recreate it, but the one that you just created and wrote up and everything, you can't work on that because it's been destroyed. You could also just rip it up if you can't burn it or whatever. Sometimes some people would use these even though what they're manifesting for wouldn't happen quickly. So they'd use it as kind of like a catalyst, and then maybe use like an active sigil afterwards. So let's see, have I touched everything? Okay, so for the passive sigils, I don't personally use these, but basically they're considered passive because of how they function. Basically you would create it, and you'd be, and then you just forget about it. You know, you put it somewhere, or you do something with it, and then you forget about it. And basically the ideology is that they only work if you don't remember about them. And then supposedly if you do remember about them, once the caster remembers them, it draws it in by focusing on it. This stops. Okay. So supposedly, like, as I was saying, if you remember about the sigil and think about what it's for and all that, then it, oh, there we go. Stops the power of the sigil from, oh, fuck, now it's this eye. This video is gonna have me, but part of it's also because I just woke up about, like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes ago, but, yes, that's the main reason why I don't work with them, because I feel like it's a little... I feel like it has this, like, underlying fear-based ideology, and y'all know how I feel about fear-based thinking. I just don't do it. And so I don't really like this ideology of sigil usage, because it feels like, oh my gosh, it's gonna stop working, and it's just like... Is it, though? Like, it just sounds so... not superficial, superstitious, and like low-key fear-based thinking without all the anxiety of fear, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't use it. My thing is, if I'm doing magic, I'm gonna be conscientious of it. I want to know what I'm manifesting, and I want it to be in the forefront of my mind. I kind of let this like, if there are things that sometimes will just manifest in my life from, like, not so much a fleeting thought, but like, well, maybe a fleeting thought, and then it will manifest, and that's kind of the extent of my passivity with manifestation. Like, just recently, or not recently, it was just today. Just today, someone called me that I was kind of thinking about. I was like, do I want to call them? Do I want to bother? And then it's like, and then it's kind of like, should I bother activating the spell? And just like, and then I was like, well, I was just kind of like thinking about them anyway, and then they just like, within like a few days or whatever, they called me. I was just like, okay, well, I said that doesn't really answer my question, but okay. So anyway, that's kind of that. And then I guess I'll refer to these as subcategories. So we have the types, major sigils, which are kind of like your basic everyday sigil that pretty much almost everyone knows about. And then the major sigils, these are like more complex, more is constructed into them, and they are used for what I call jujus. It's kind of like a whole fetish thing. It's almost like a servitor also, actually. In fact, that is what I call my servitors, that's right. And then we have the categories, active, instant, passive, and then we have the subcategories, which are, I don't want to use this word, but I don't know another one to use. These are the, I won't use that word. I'll just say what they are. The subcategories are your word sigil, your pictorial, and your monstrical sigil. These are the ways, there we go, in which you can construct a sigil. So the categories would be more like how you could use the sigil, and then the types would be how complex you go about creating it. And it's kind of like, what are you using it for? Are you using a sigil itself? Then it would just be the minor sigil. If you're using it to bring something to life and put like a purpose in this being, it would be the juju at that point. Now, on my first path to sigil crafting, oh shit, well, I'll say that at the end of the video. I was going to say that in the beginning, but I forgot. It's okay, we'll just start at the end. So when I first started doing Sigil-Craft, I did two ways. I did what I called the Hebrew method and the Latin method. And there was a very slight difference between the two. And I'll go into them in the next video. But now I do, for a while there I was calling it a hybrid method, because I was still holding on to the Hebrew and Latin method, but I've since done away with the two, and I just do the hybrid method. So it's kind of like a combination of what I would do for the Hebrew method and what I would do for the Latin method, but just put together as one. So, and I'll go into that more about the two and how I do it now in the next video. So there's that way with and then there's the pictorial way, and then the monstrical way. Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't really want to go into it because then I won't have anything to say when it comes to those videos. So this is the intro to the Sigil crafting series, which will lead into the next mini-series, Juju crafting. Like I said, this video and the next one in the Sigil craft series will be the first two added into the Juju crafting playlist, and then it will kick off with the first video on the Juju crafting mini-series. So, I hope this video has served you well. Oh yeah, I announced it. I almost forgot again. So, I don't think I've mentioned on here, but I actually have a, well, I think I still have it. It's been a while since I kind of downloaded it and everything, but I decided to kind of download this second telephone thing because I wanted a way for y'all to kind of contact me, and you know, with this whole you know, this whole virus thing. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to share my thoughts and opinions about it. But, you know, some people are getting kind of lonely. And also, I always wanted to, my thing is I really love to get to know people. I really love to talk, like have real conversations, like where we talk about not just magic, but we talk about life And given that I'm not sleepy today, I didn't have much of a good conversation because I was kind of tired and I wasn't really fully awake until towards the end of it. So I was like, oh, okay. Yes, I like to have conversations. Like, I want to talk to people about, you know, what they believe the origins of the universe are. Do you believe in? What are your thoughts on conspiracy theories? Do you believe in them? Do you have any that you think might be true? You know, like, I want to talk to people like that, and people that can have respectful conversations, you know? And it's like, it's just so hard to talk to people like that because some people just don't talk anymore in general. Or they just will have very superficial conversations, or it'll just be simple conversations. So it's not necessarily superficial, but it's just like they're not talking about really in-depth things. I won't say that because I think it might be taken wrong. I was gonna say something, but then I was like, I feel like some people would take that the wrong way, and especially with this whole I'm offended train bullshit going on. Oh my gosh. I hope that ends really soon. Like, I'm all for, you know, calling people out, including yourself, in this case myself, you know, of bullshit and disrespect and getting it addressed. But let me just say, I just don't like how it's resulted. Anyway, I said all that to say this. I have this new number. Well, not a new number, an additional number. Given that they haven't recycled it. Because they've been giving me warnings because it's, I think, been about a month. I keep forgetting to tell you. I told people on Facebook, but then I forgot to tell y'all. So it's 619-798-9425. Now, right now, because I haven't had any activity, I'm not really paying for it. If I feel like I need to, like, build up minutes or whatever, then I might pay for it. So it's not so much of a calling app, and if you do call, try and keep it within like a 5-10 minute thing, just for now. If it comes to be a thing where, you know, I'm gonna start paying for it or whatever, then, you know, maybe. Part of it's because I also am in the works of wanting to open a business, an online shop. I don't know how quickly that's gonna happen, so don't hold me to that just yet. Hold on, I need some water. But that's another reason why I got this. So you can text me on this number, you can call me, and, you know, I'll reach out to you as soon as I can, given that I'm not at work or asleep. And yeah, just reach out, text me, call me. If you got some video suggestions, you know, feel free to message them there. If you got some, like, if you just need someone to talk to, you can talk to me on there. What's it, like, I know in the past I've mentioned, you know, if you're, like, a little uncomfortable to leave comments, then you could message me on, you know, any of the social medias. I kind of wanted something that would be a good one platform for everyone to reach me. I'm really thirsty, y'all. I've been asleep, so I didn't really drink my water yet today. You know, and I know not everybody watches YouTube, not everybody is on Facebook, not everybody's on Instagram, not everybody's on Snapchat. Not everybody's on TikTok, but I am, so it'd be really fun if you followed me. I haven't put up any content yet, but I do have ideas, and I will finally get to doing them. I promise. But yeah, I felt like sharing this on all those platforms would be a great way for people, like my followers and subscribers, whatever you want to call yourselves. I thought it would be a really great way to have y'all reach out, or not reach out, be able to reach me, you know, in a more intimate way so we can get to know each other more. And that's pretty much that. I feel like I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go. That's pretty much the beginning of the, oh, pardon me, the intro of it. I guess I'm not breathing properly. Whoops. I'm gonna go and start recording the other videos, and we'll see where this goes. I hope y'all enjoy this series. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get to it, but it's finally here. Yay! I know there was one person that specifically asked for this, so hopefully this fulfills their needs. So, thank y'all so much for watching, and as always, abundant and eternal blessing. Mwah.